Hello, hi, and welcome to Midwest Speedfest Runner Spotlight. I'm Newt. I do these. I'm joined today by the ever so wonderful Seriously Surly.
I'm not a slurry. Don't do that.
That's my own speech impediments coming out. How are you doing tonight?
Just try and put as many S's as close together as possible.
Slurry.
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Newt?
I'm doing great. I mean, wasn't expecting to make as many hiccups as I did to start the stream off. Oh man. But you know what? We'll get over it. I didn't update the stream info, and I didn't mute my microphone when I started the stream, so yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. Anyway, yeah. So I guess right out of the gates, the reason why all of us are here in the first place is because of speedrunning. And I wanted to know a little bit about how you got into speedrunning.
Sure. So, like most folk, I have access to the internet, and so I watched a number of the various marathons that have happened over the years.
Mhm.
I think the first one was either SGDQ 2015 or uh, RPG Limit Break of the same year. One of the two.
Okay.
And then it took me a few years to finally settle down on a game to run. Because I
As
watched
it
all
goes.
those talented people do their thing, and I'm like, well, nope, not.
It can be super intimidating at first, can it?
Well, I played Mario as a kid, right? And I sucked. I played Sonic as a kid. Like one of my very first games was Sonic 2, and I was bad. I mean, I almost beat the game a few times, but I was bad.
I feel
And
that
then,
though.
like anything that I did competitively or just kind of somewhat seriously, like Dota or League or um, things like that, was also not very good. So
Okay.
I just have a long history of being mediocre at video games.
I
And
feel that. Oh my gosh, at a spiritual level.
right, I'm competent. I know where the buttons are. I know kind of what I'm doing. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
Um
then, yeah, settled down on Baldur's Gate. Uh, Almost exactly a year ago.
Excellent. Why Baldur's Gate?
Because no one else was doing it.
I mean, hey, that's like that's an honest like first step to speedrunning. One of the first games that I started speedrunning was a game called Bugdom 2. Nobody else had played. I think there was like one gameplay video of it on YouTube at the time I started
Right, right.
running it. But yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate had two people who had run it like a year prior to when I had done it. Um, so I don't know. I'll give you the brief rundown of Baldur's Gate because it's an old game, right?
Mhm.
But it got re-released in 2012, and then it got a major expansion in 2016.
Okay.
So back in 20, like I'll say 2007 or so, when the DVD release happened, there was a community around it. Back in 2012, that community kind of came back. 2016, two people. And then 2019, one more
Oh my
schmuck.
goodness.
Um, so there's a lot of resources available. You just have to go dig through the old websites, and a
Okay.
lot of it has been patched out.
Ooh. Okay.
Right. One of those things where, old beloved game, want to get it running on current console, but also want to try and patch it up along the way.
Yeah.
And they did. And so they took out a
Ah.
lot of the fun glitches.
Ah. Developers, please.
Right.
Um so you'd been playing Baldur's Gate for a while, and I
Mhm.
mean, as is sort of the way it goes with speedrunning, it's just a game that you enjoyed, and it's a game that you enjoy playing over and over and over again.
Yep.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the speedrun for Baldur's Gate?
Sure. It's an Infinity Engine game, which is just made for the old AD&D 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
So old Dungeons and Dragons, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. So they ported in as much of the rule set as they could, many of the spells and like how combat functions, how line of sight works, how
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And so we have to work within that. So there's a lot of uh, items at our disposal, a lot of spells at our disposal, a lot of classes at our disposal to try and
Yeah.
optimize the route.
Yeah.
So there's a few clear winners in terms of items. Like there are things that just literally double your movement speed, which is
Nice.
fantastic. There's a pair of boots later on that again double our movement speed, and when used
Excellent.
with the potions, we get quad movement speed.
Ooh.
True speed tech right there. uh, right. I drank a potion. I now move faster. Yes.
uh.
And then a few other like minor things with like class selection. We want to move quick at the start of the game, and we're limited on the number of potions we have.
Okay.
So one of the classes has just a double move button that refreshes on rest, which is a
Mm-hmm.
core D&D mechanic.
Yeah.
So early game is a lot of resting, hoping we don't get attacked as we rest. You making use of that double movement speed as often as possible. Doing some quick shopping or finding some gold to do some quick shopping. Doing a little bit of map routing, because the way the Baldur's Gate map works, you kind of have to explore the areas in order to link up areas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't just you'll start with like the known places on your map. Like you start at Candlekeep. This is your home.
Yep.
Baldur's Gate, obviously, it needs to be there because it's the title of the game. But then like the other major cities like Baragast and Nashkel and places are also on your map. But then everything in between them, you haven't explored yet, so you can't go to.
Yeah. So you can't just say I want to go to Waterdeep or something and just be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to do a little bit of opening up the map as quickly as possible, do a little shopping, and then we find a wand in a tree and proceed to use that to kill pretty much everything.
Nice.
Oh, and then the one necklace of fireballs that we buy.
Also
Those are
nice.
those are our two major damage items. Uh, Actually, our only damage items, because we've now recently we have dropped the extra potions of explosion.
Okay.
So yeah, literally only two damage items to complete the entire game.
Wow.
Everything else is running like a scaredy cat or being invisible.
That's speedrunning though.
That is speedrunning.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, and all the cutscenes are skippable and all the dialogue is
Oh,
mashable. So at a
beautiful.
certain exactly at a certain point, what is this game? We don't even know anymore. What's going on?
Who
Iron
knows?
Throne? Game of Thrones? I don't know.
Sure. We'll go with that. Close enough. It's a really interesting speedrun. RPG speedruns are not something that I'm super familiar with to begin with. So it's really, really cool to learn more about them.
I am thankful it's not like a like Pokemon Blue or something, or even the original Final Fantasy,
Okay.
where it's so broken down that you know all of the RNG manipulation, you know all of the steps that you need to be taking, and all the encounters you're going to be receiving, and
Yeah.
everything like that. I'm happy we're not that stage yet.
Okay. Where you see someone like bungeed to the tree show up with a binder that outlines the
Right,
entire run
right.
and data tables for all of like the IVs and
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, all right, so I got this IV, so that means it's going to take 2 hits in this fight, which
yeah,
means I need to
right.
get an extra pot over here. And it's just like, oh man, if I roll less than like 30 damage, I just do a quick save, quick load, and try again.
That's the way you have to do it sometimes, though.
Yeah,
I mean, Baldur's Gate is a pretty short run in
it is.
comparison, though. I
It
mean,
is.
I can imagine having a 5 hour long speed run. It'd be nice to have a little bit of an outline to
Yeah,
go off of. That's way too much for me to remember. I
yeah.
do not run games that long.
I think my limit's going to be somewhere like right around an hour.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Um, So Baldur's Gate, obviously a game that you've put in a lot of work to over the past almost a year now that you've been running it.
Yeah.
And have there been any other games that have caught your interest?
Well, so one of the first ones I wanted to run was the original Portal.
Ah, yeah.
Short game. Love it to death.
Yeah.
Uh, Played it a bunch. Thought I'd be good at it. Right? First mistake.
I was in the same boat too at one point in time until I was at, I think it was like SGDQ 2017.
Sure.
And I had just met Connor Ace, who was showing me some Portal shenanigans, and I
Yep.
was like, nope, never mind. Not for me. It's
You know,
crazy.
I I learned the inbounds route, and I am too embarrassed about my time to post it.
Well, if you learned the inbounds route, it's just a matter of grinding out runs of it over and
It
over
yeah.
again.
Yep. There's obviously the button glitch is just kind of brutal because no one's got a good like true tutorial of how to set it up and make it work 100% of the time. Everyone's kind of got their own flavor of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone finds the way that works for them, and you think you find a way, and then you try it 6 more times, and you get it once out of those 6, and go, well, crap.
It's like you start to figure it out. You're like, yeah, I got this. And then you try it again. And you're like, wait a minute.
Wait a
Maybe I
minute.
don't.
Yeah. And then there's another one of the major room skips. I think it's you go from like 10 to 12,
Yeah.
and that one was just brutal. I could never get the second skip right. I can get to the end of 10 fine. I could get into 11 somewhat consistently. I couldn't get to the end of 11
Mm.
ever.
Oh.
So that obviously adds like almost a minute
Yeah.
because it's the fling room where you have
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
not as good
yeah.
as we. Yes.
Yep. Yep. Oh my god. No, Portal is a brutal speed run.
Yep. Yep.
So I
So
don't blame you for that at all.
much respect to those people that are doing it in like sub 10 minutes and doing those glitches so consistently.
Right?
Just
Oh my god.
ridiculous.
It's insane.
Absolutely ridiculous. Uh, Other ones I've tried to get into. One I'm currently working on is Crash Team Racing Nitro
Oh,
Kart.
nice. Very nice.
Uh, Another game I played as a kid, or at least the Crash Team CTR version. Nitro Kart's the recent re-release. Um, so that one I am actually fairly good at. I found out, not quite speedrunning good, but at
Hmm.
least I'm in the ballpark. Instead of
Yeah.
being 20 minutes off of a time I'm embarrassed about, I'm like 10 minutes off.
It's a
And then
start.
exactly, and it's I think world records on the any percent's running like 48 minutes right now, and I'm
Okay.
just trying to sneak under that hour, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, that'll be really good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
2 tracks. There are 2 tracks that are terrible, just terrible.
Which ones?
Uh, Dingo Cavern? No, it's the cavern.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's not the canyon. It's the cavern. It's one I have to go on the mine cart tracks as the
Yeah, yeah,
shortcut.
yep, yep.
Yep, yep.
Okay, yeah, I know about that about that
That
one then.
that shortcut is the death of me. And
Oof.
then nitrous oxide's court, whatever his planetoid space station is called.
Okay, yeah. Also
'Cause that was
understandable.
yeah, that one's just so many tight turns in a row, and as soon as you get off your line, it's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're toast.
No more. It's over.
Yep, yep.
Oof.
But other than that, it's a super fun game, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy the remake. So I have no problem just hammering at it every now and then.
Excellent. That's amazing. See, that's like I was saying before, that's the telltale sign of a good speed run for you is when you enjoy playing it over and over
Right.
and over and over after
Yep.
reset and reset.
Ugh.
Um So, aside from those games, you mentioned you started out getting into speedrunning by watching either SGDQ or RPG Limit Break. Do you have some speedruns that you really enjoy following that you don't necessarily run?
Celeste,
It's a
obviously,
good one.
because it's one of the ones where I played the game, was super happy that I finished the game,
Yes.
and then did like the first three B sides and went, all right, this is where I get off. I'll let you platforming types enjoy this. Um,
Celeste is good.
Celeste is good. Basically, any of the Final Fantasies I always enjoy watching.
Okay.
Uh, I've played all of them. Huge fan of the series. Have very little desire to ever speedrun one. Uh, the closest I'm probably ever going to get is I'm going to learn enough of the route for 9 so that I can go
Okay.
get Excalibur 2.
Okay. How long is 9?
9
The speed run for
currently
it.
is, I think, a little over 9 hours. Maybe just under.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a lot of cutscenes, and they're not skippable.
Oof. Oh, that
The
sounds.
CGI ones are, but all the in-game ones, nope.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alexo is wondering, looking at Baldur's Gate, it looks like a nice RPG run. Have you considered runs of the Ultima series in the future?
I haven't played any of the Ultima series.
Neither have I, actually.
Uh, One of the next RPG runs I'm looking at is actually Tides of Torment Numenera.
Okay.
So it's a more recent RPG based on a system that's not D&D. It's based on the Numenera system.
Okay.
So it's still an RPG. It still
Yeah.
functions like a tabletop game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's weird. It's out there.
Like how so? How does it function?
So the whole premise behind the Numenera like world is that it's Earth, but like 9 iterations of Earth later. So if you consider dinosaurs the first iteration, and then humans the second iteration, then this is 7 generations later.
Oh, that's a ways later.
Yes, like hundreds of millions of years in the future. Like the sun blew up at one point and was reignited. The entire place is terraformed. Nanobots exist. Extraterrestrial life is
Oh
a
my
thing.
god.
Like it's sci-fi at its weirdest.
That sounds insanely weird, but like in all the best ways.
Yes, yes. Uh, so that's the world that this game takes place in, and it held true to kind of the intent, which was it's just weird, and the character you start with is not the character you end with at all.
Okay.
Like you can
Interesting.
have a plan, but things are going to go wrong, and that's okay. They might help you, they might hurt you. Either way, it's fine. Choices were made, stuff happened. Keep going. Just keep going.
Just have to roll with it.
Yep. There's no power gaming here. Can't do it.
No, you can't have an end goal. Just sit there like, yep, this is the ride I'm on now.
Well, you can still kind of have an end goal,
Okay.
which is to, meet your story objectives. So
Yeah.
there's like you are on a path, like you have an intent and a purpose, and you want to arrive at your destination.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay. Interesting. That sounds super interesting.
yeah, super fun game.
Yeah.
If you like the tabletop translated,
Um, I'll have to look into it for sure. I, I mean, on the topic of tabletop, have you played much like different tabletop RPGs in general?
system wise, I'm fairly limited. There's a number
Okay.
I would like to try.
Yeah.
Uh, but I started with technically 3, but 3 to 5 in reality is
Mm-hmm.
when I actually got going. and then kind of dabbled in fourth. Didn't really like it, so switched over to Pathfinder just to
That's a
get my
common.
three
Yep.
five fix. And I wanted to play a monk, so couldn't do that in 3.5.
Oof. No. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
Pour
monk.
one out.
Um, Otherwise, I've really been enjoying Fifth Ed. Currently doing a campaign in Pathfinder again,
Okay.
1.0, because now I have to specify 1.0 and 2.0.
And 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did try a campaign in Numenera that went sideways. Um, and then did a couple of sessions in, I think it's called Westworld. It's a not. Did you ever see Cowboys vs. Aliens?
Or is that Savage Worlds?
Savage Worlds. Thank you.
Yeah, because I've played a little bit of
Savage
Savage
Worlds.
Worlds, yeah.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, the almost sci-fi but not quite
Yeah, yeah.
Western gunslinger.
That's
Yeah.
a super interesting game. I really enjoyed playing that when I did. Weird,
Weird. Yeah.
but fun. Oh God, Gooby. On the topic of table, why does pesto go great on kitchen tables?
You see, Gooby, when you put pesto on a kitchen table, the table is enlightened and is allowed to have more color in its life, along with some better flavors.
Ooh, mwah. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's the answer that everybody is looking for. Pedal things just sort of all over the place a little bit. Scriburn was asking about what your speedrunning process is. Like, how do you get into a zone for speedrunning? Any sort of warm-ups that you do, or just jump right into it?
For the most part, I I kind of just jump into it.
That's fair.
I know the first couple runs are just going to be kind of, all right, where are my buttons? What am I doing? Where am I going? What am I buying? Why am I doing this? Oh, right. Yes, this is all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a mood thing. There are days
Mm-hmm.
where I would much rather open up, Dynasty Warriors and just mash X for a while. And there are days where I kind of want to, do something a little more productive, and so that turns into either, speed running or
Yeah.
some of my friends have gotten me into Link to the Past randomizers very
Ooh.
recently. Right.
Also fun.
They're so patient with me. It's great.
The best friends.
The best friends.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Yeah.
have kind of that mode between, cathartic god gaming and I'm actually want to put effort into this.
Yeah. No, I get that too. It is definitely God damn. It is definitely depending on the mood of the day. Yandu, I'm about ready to ban you. Um I'm kidding. uh yeah. What were we talking about? Tabletop games,
Tabletop
speedrunning,
games,
pesto.
speedrunning. Yeah.
Um Ooh, yeah. So again, we're gonna pedal it backwards a little bit. Uh you you had talked about getting into speedrunning through watching, like GDQ, RPG Limit Break, and some others. How did you find out about Midwest Speedfest, and what sort of drew you to submit to Midwinter?
So, because I only recently started engaging in the speedrunning community.
Okay.
I obviously known about speedrun.com for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but since I wasn't running anything, didn't feel a lot of drive to be there.
Yeah.
So
I
after I submitted my first run, was starting to look around and go, I can actually run a game. This game has not been run at literally any marathon pretty much ever because nobody runs it.
mm-hmm.
It might be fun to try and do some marathons. And then I found out that the speedrun page has just in its forum area, a little area for current marathons looking for folk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, hey, look, this one's local. This is fantastic. We'll
Surprise!
see. We'll see if I can get in. How did I not know these people were here?
A lot of people forgets that we're here. Part of the problem about hosting a speedrun marathon in the same city as SGDQ. But we were here
Right.
first, SGDQ. Remember that.
That's the more amazing thing is I went to a couple SGDQs
Oh, yeah?
and apparently didn't talk to the right people.
I guess not. We float around at GDQs.
Right.
Um, the SRC forums page. Oh, I hate the SRC forums page. I mean, when I got into speedrunning, I got in through the website Speed Demos Archive. This was
Right.
back in like 2013, which was much more focused around like the forum aspect, sort of like the community building aspect of speedrunning. And going from the SDA forums to the SRC forums is like night and day.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's maybe not as much love put into the SRC forums. But hey, what do you do? Um, but yeah, you
Struggle through
submitted.
the days.
Exactly. You submitted, and lo and behold, you were accepted to Midwinter Speed Sprinter.
Yep.
Can you walk me through a little bit what it was like then coming to your first marathon that you had to run in?
Oh, just nervous wreck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I often have to, stand up in front of a room full of 30 people and tell them why all the things are breaking.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Mhm.
And I'm used to that. But to then sit in a room and play a video game fast with, people watching is somehow infinitely more stressful. And I don't understand.
Yes. Well, hey,
But,
your first is always the hardest.
right.
It's always the most nervous. Um, yeah, Speed Sprinter. Pog.
All things considered, it went well. I
It
only
did.
had one major screw up and just kind of talked through it.
Hey, for a marathon,
So,
that's not bad at all.
right. Right.
That's a successful marathon run.
Yeah. Was super happy that I didn't have to reset the Dukes fight like 9 times
Yeah.
because that does happen, and it's
Oh.
right at the end.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got that out of the way. I hope you were less nervous at the end of your run than when you started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I enjoyed the experience. I would like to do more in the future. I just need to branch out a little bit or keep making up categories in Baldur's Gate.
That's a good idea. That always helps. Well, you're always welcome to continue submitting to these events for sure. I hope we were welcoming enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not my first convention by any stretch.
Yeah.
So I knew most of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys did a good job of in your communication and getting people on
Mm-hmm.
board and when things are going to happen when and
Yeah.
yeah.
But it can still be very it can still make you like pretty anxious though if you don't know very many people at the
Yep.
convention that you're going to or
Yep.
the speedrun event in general.
This is why you bring people with.
Okay, yeah,
You
that's
say, hey
fair.
friends, grab,
Come with me.
come with me.
It does make it easier. Um, glad you had a good time at it.
Yeah.
Explosions only percent. That's a good one.
That would be a lot of explosions. That'd be. Do you know how many casts of fireball we can do? Because the answer is infinite. We can keep resting and getting our spells back.
Cast every fireball. burn it all to the ground.
Burn it all to the ground.
Well, that's excellent. Had you did you say that you'd been to SGDQ before? Yeah, you said you've been
Yeah,
to SGDQ before. May I ask which ones?
I did. That would have been 16, no, 17 and 18. When was I out of the country? 17 and 18.
Okay. 17 was when it was downtown, I think.
Yes,
And then
because it
18.
was overlapping with Convergence.
Mm,
This sounds right.
yeah. In that triangle hotel that I can't remember the name of.
It's probably a Hilton. They're all Hiltons.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, and then 18 was the first year that it was at the DoubleTree, where it's been now for a couple of years. I believe is the time frame. But you were out of the country before? Where to?
Yeah, so I did some grad school in England,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
18 through 19.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you I'm just going wherever. Have you traveled elsewhere in the world too?
Mostly Europe.
Okay.
I've done a little bit of Central America,
Mm.
but that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay.
So when you're when you're overseas already, it's a lot cheaper to get places. Like it was about $30 round trip for me to get to Dublin from
Oh,
where I went. Right.
can't even get to
Flights to
Chicago for
Amsterdam,
that much.
exactly. Flights to Amsterdam were like $70.
Oh my gosh.
Flights to Munich were like 110. So some travel happened while
I
I was over
imagine
there.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
What have been some of your
Uh,
favorite places to visit then?
Munich's a really cool city.
Yeah.
If you want to experience public transportation that was designed with the city, uh,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best examples for that, Edinburgh in Scotland,
Mm.
is
Okay.
just gorgeous. It's a
Oof.
super, super pretty city. Uh, Great people, great food. Just, it is so pretty.
Yeah.
Enough good things about Edinburgh. Uh, More remote places. Uh, the Isle of Skye, also in Scotland,
Oh, interesting.
has, well, it's Scotland, so chances of seeing the sun are slim,
Yeah.
but the fog over the cragginess and with the saltwater kind of surrounding you everywhere is good smells, good sights, good mysterious aura. You can see why people can believe in,
Yeah.
the Loch Ness monster and
Yeah,
all
no
that fun stuff.
kidding.
Otherwise, more close to home, Boundary Waters
Oof.
is always good.
Oof. Yes. Yes, please.
Um, Anywhere in the Rockies. I've got some
Mm.
friends in Colorado, so I have to drive through a pass to get there, and
Oh.
that's always an adventure.
Yeah, I bet.
Um, but also there's some super pretty scenic stops through there. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, mountains. I like mountains, green things, and good public transportation. I think is what that tells you.
Okay. That's very nice. Yeah, Boundary Waters. I was, if you missed it, I was just talking up the Boundary Waters on my stream yesterday. Oh, I want to get up there
Did miss
so
it.
badly.
Have you never been?
I have once,
Okay.
twice, I think. I want to get up there again really badly.
There's
Northern Minnesota is
about
like my favorite place in the world.
Oh, it's great. There was a string while I was younger, and still in the Boy Scouts. I
Mhm.
made it up almost every year for a decade to the Boundary
Mm,
Waters, which was super nice.
that's awesome. I wish we would have done that more in Scouts. Go up to Boundary Waters. We only did it once though, which was annoying. Ugh, what do you do? That's awesome. Um, yeah. Grandma and Grandpa Gooby have a cabin up there. It is an extremely peaceful place.
Little jealous, Scooby. Little jealous.
Someday I will have a cabin out in the middle of the woods in northern Minnesota and live out the rest of my days there. That's the goal.
That's a true Minnesotan dream right there. Wearing the plaid, getting his cabin dreams on.
I've got the flannel on. I've got the hat over here too. Except it's like really warm in my room right now, so it doesn't really work all that well. There we go. Oh sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Um yeah, so aside from all of that, from aside from speedrunning, tabletop gaming, um, and the occasional traveling, what are some other things that you really enjoy doing in your free time? Now, I noticed in your Twitter bio that you mentioned blacksmithing, and I want to hear more about that.
Sure. Uh, very much as a hobby. A few years back, being that, lonely guy with nothing else really going on in his life and having disposable income because the student loans are almost gone,
Ooh, nice.
decided that this would be a great idea. So, uh, found out that there's a local group. They call themselves the Guild of Metalsmiths.
Oh, neat.
Yep, they are for the advocacy and teaching of all of metalworking. So not just blacksmithing,
Yeah.
but it is a core component of what they do
Okay.
because it's one of the hardest things to get classes or training for.
Mm-hmm.
You can go learn to be a machinist pretty much anywhere. How to bend sheet steel or something. You
Yeah.
can do that elsewhere. They'll help you. They'll give you access to the tools you need, but primary focus is blacksmithing. So found out they do some events throughout the year, some free weekends, some demos. Started running with them for a little while. Got into it, really enjoyed it. Took some classes through a different organization, so the Chicago Avenue Fire Arts Center. If
Okay.
you've never been, it's in South Minneapolis. Again, not a dedicated blacksmithing place, but just anything to do with fire and art is their realm.
That's interesting.
But there's a lot of metal work going on there. So a lot of
Okay.
weld
Yeah.
projects, a lot of stained glass projects, things like that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So then I built my own forge, got a couple hammers, made some tongs, and then moved to England. So right as I was getting going,
Yep.
I left, and I've only been back coming up on 6 months now.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it was winter, and
Yeah.
I moved and got a new job and all that fun stuff. So I haven't really had time to pick it back up again, but I'm kind of itching to this summer.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. That's
We'll s-
I've always sort of had a little fascination with blacksmithing. My great I think just great grandfather was a blacksmith by trade down
Nice.
in rural Minnesota. Um it's really really cool. That and blacksmithing is just really cool in general.
There is something very cathartic about just pounding a hot piece of metal.
Yeah, I'm sure I bet there is. I really want to try it sometime. That's really
Yeah,
cool. Um I hope that you get a chance to keep doing that more this summer. I didn't
I do too.
realize I didn't realize that you'd just been back for like 6 months, though. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it is
Um,
crazy. Too many things have happened in the last year. It's hard to keep track of.
yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that too. Um, anything else aside from blacksmithing that sort of takes up your free time or your free income?
uh, well, the dog, he does both.
Yes.
Uh, he is passed out. It is bedtime.
What's your dog's name again?
His name is Hobbs.
Hobbs. Oh,
If you
what a
want to see
cutie.
pictures of him, just stop by my stream at any point. There's usually a slideshow at the start, and then his picture stays in the corner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a good boy.
He is a good boy. Um,
I love dogs. Oh my god.
yeah, most of what I fill my free time with, gaming or being outside. So
Two
just
solid
standard,
things.
yeah, just walking around or planning a camping trip or trying to
Oh.
drag non-camping friends camping, which hasn't worked so well so far, but we're gonna
Mm.
keep trying.
What's your favorite Minnesota state park?
Ooh,
I love this
well, there's some
question.
good ones. Maybe just because it's so close and so nice. Afton.
Okay, yeah, Afton is good. I agree with that.
Otherwise, Gooseberry is always a nice quick walk. Lots of memories by those falls. Been there
Hmm.
a lot as both a kid and as an adult.
Okay.
Um, Itasca is always nice too.
Yes. Itasca is pretty classic.
I have to put Itasca on the list.
Oh yeah, you do. Itasca is solid. I didn't really grew up with a whole lot of state parks around the cities. Afton I've been to a couple of times, and then of course Fort Snelling is a state park too, right? I think.
State or national, one of the two.
Okay. I think it might only be
Might only be a
state,
state,
because I think the only national park in Minnesota is Voyagers, way
probably.
up north, which is also beautiful. Oh, love it.
Mhm.
um, oh yeah, but Itasca is solid. Have you been to many of the state parks sort of around the North Shore?
Well, Gooseberry's up there.
Yep.
Um, Jay Cook, been in. Um, I'm gonna blank on a whole bunch of the names. Most of the ones right on the shore,
Yeah.
yes. Anything that's gotten even a few miles off 61 there, probably not.
Okay. I think most of the state parks sort of just run along the North Shore there, like Tetagooch, Split Rock Lighthouse, Temperance
There you go.
River.
Yep.
Yeah. Kettle River, I think.
Yep.
Is that another
Maybe.
one? Yeah. Something like that. Because I think everything north of that is just the Superior National Forest. Or like the Finland State Forest or something like that.
Pretty close, yeah.
A little bit of forest up there.
A few woods, maybe a tree or
couple
two.
couple trees. Oh, you've got me in the mood for camping now.
Oh, it's spring coming. Oh,
It's
it's
I've
been
been
smelling
itching
like
to.
camping weather.
Yes,
I
it
want a
has.
fire.
My neighbor had a fire yesterday, and I had left when I was streaming. I had left like my screen door open because it was so warm out. And by the time I was done, my whole house smelled like campfire, and I was like, "Yeah, I need to go camping now."
Yep.
A tree
Yep.
here and there. Oh, I guess with that, I'm running out of topics. We've sort of covered a lot
Sure.
already.
Because I know very little about you.
Oh
So
yeah,
you do super fancy pants adventures.
yes I do.
Do you have a favorite pants?
Oh, probably the '90s pants. It's just like black with like the neon like squiggles and circles on it.
Those would be good 90s pants.
Yes, yeah, I like those ones, or just the vanilla orange pants. Orange pants are they're
Orange is a good
classic.
color.
Yeah, asking the
It's
tough questions. Yeah, exactly.
it's the color I've kind of started to default to for my Baldur's Gate coloring
Ooh,
because there's
yeah.
a really atrocious looking orange. Like the shaders just broke
Ooh,
on it, and it's fantastic.
just nasty in all of the right ways.
Yes. Yep.
That's beautiful. Um, if anybody else in chat has questions, start spewing them out now. I did have another random question. I have a couple random questions to ask you actually now at this
Fire
point.
away.
First is like your favorite D&D class.
Also tough. Uh, I've had such wonderful experiences as both a barbarian and a monk, but I'm really, really enjoying my alchemist.
Okay.
Um, it's the first time doing one of the like off-brand casters,
Yeah.
and I'm really liking it.
Interesting.
But I think just because they are the best, my favorite class is probably Bard.
Okay, that's fair. Um, bards are really fun. Bards are extremely fun. I can get behind that. Why is pesto the
Yep.
besto?
Well, it's an inferior form of a proper sauce. You were too lazy to take the time to let it sit and marinate to form a complete sauce. You've rushed it. So pesto is not the besto. It's the start to the besto.
Okay, there we go. That's fair. Favorite bardic college.
I actually have never gotten far enough on a bard to care about my college.
Also fair.
Uh, most of my bards get killed off by the DM by about level 2.
Ah,
Because the
DM.
DM is tired of me rolling too well on my charisma checks and me walking out of enemy camp as the best friend who is now has a mother who plays pinochle with their mothers,
Yep.
and I get a
Yep.
donkey a week's worth of supplies.
Oh no. Why is
almost almost a true story.
Oh my god. I mean,
Just drop the
that's
mother and pinochle bit, and everything else is true.
yeah. Good god. That sounds about right. Ugh. Why is Buntitled Boost Game so good?
Because it's
Yondu.
misspelled.
Yondu. You're killing me. Um ooh, I did have another question. Favorite beer? Favorite like craft
Favorite?
beer or any beer in
Ooh.
general. Yeah.
I am very much a seasonal drinker,
Yeah.
so I'll do one for each season.
Okay, that's extremely fair.
Spring is very much IPA and punch me in my face season. It's to help wake me up. So my favorite IPA is Masala Mama from
Okay.
Town Hall.
I have
If
not
you've ever
had
been
that.
to Seven Corners, is their first location. They've also got one in South Minneapolis and some other one somewhere else.
Okay.
They might have a fourth one now. I don't know. I was gone for a year. Things move.
They do.
Uh, but they're super good. Most of their beer in general is just super good. But Masala Mama is one of my favorite IPAs of all time. And has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Summer is for Hefeweizens and lagers and things
Yes.
that go down easy.
Yes. That's hard agree.
So, um, what what's the name of it? It's Boom Island. They did
Mm.
a they did a Belgian Hefeweizen
Ooh.
years ago,
Oh.
and I forget the name of it,
Okay.
but it was so good. It was
Okay.
so good. Otherwise, oh, see now you've got me all hung up on where these places are. Like I can picture where it is on a
Yeah, yeah,
map,
yeah.
and I can't tell you the name of the brewery. They do German beers, and they're in Northeast Minneapolis, and they're really close to like Social Cider Works and 612 and
Oh.
Able and Indeed and that whole corridor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're the German one in there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they make a really nice Hefeweizen too.
Okay.
Fall
Interesting.
is for Oktoberfest and pumpkin beer.
Yes.
Hard to go wrong with the Ichabod from
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
who is that? Is that
Um,
Greatwater?
the yes?
I think that's right. Same people who did Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah, them. So the Ichabod pumpkin beer, excellent. and then winters for stouts and things that can get me drunk quick.
Oh, yes.
So one of my all-time favorites is Founder's Breakfast Stout,
Ooh, ooh, yep.
because the original
Breakfast.
is still the best, and people
It's
can
also
argue
true.
with me about this. KBS and CBS are cheap imitation knockoffs. Breakfast Stout is where it started, and it's still the best.
Breakfast stout is really really good. That's a solid stout.
Yep.
Um,
A close second is Fulton's War and Peace.
okay. Haven't had Fulton's War and Peace. Now that I
It's another
think about
coffee
it.
stout.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
I've actually had
their
any dark beer from Fulton.
Worthy Adversary is their standard uh, imperial stout, and then they just coffee it.
Okay. Was it
Bauhaus.
Bauhaus? Yeah,
Thank you,
yep.
Yandu.
Very good. Um, along those same lines, and I'll get to some other questions in the chat here in a minute. Favorite brewery that you've been to?
That I've been to.
Yeah.
Well, see, this isn't fair. Uh, Founders
In
before they moved locations was
okay.
really. I think they still have a tap room there, but the Founders was super super cool.
Okay.
Uh, Dark Horse, also in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
was awesome. It's a biker bar, like a traditional biker bar.
Oh, interesting.
Right. It's not where you expect some really, really good beer to be coming out of, because it's a motorcycle repair shop on one side and the brewery on the other, in the middle of nowhere, like right off the highway.
Hey, sometimes that's the best place to find it, though.
It was great. Um, Gull Dam up in Brainerd
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
has a really cool tap room. Another one of those unexpected, why is this here kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, what are they called? Out west. Before they moved, they were in an old firehouse. Um, wasn't Excelsior. Uh,
Um,
I forget the name of them. There's so many breweries to
there
remember.
there's a couple. If you ever are heading through the Fargo Moorhead area, you need to hit up Junkyard. Junkyard is
Yeah.
so so good. I might be a little biased given like that's where I went to college and that's where I started drinking
Yeah,
craft
yeah.
beer, but it's just so good.
Enki. Enki's old
Anki?
tap room.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
their
okay.
their new one's still pretty cool because it was custom made to be a tap room.
Yeah.
Uh, but their old one was super interesting because it was the old. I don't know if you've been out Victoria Way at all. Uh, it's still got its like small town downtown,
Yeah, okay.
and so they converted the old firehouse into the
Oh,
brewery.
that's
So it's the
awesome.
old brick with the slides and cramped, and it
That's
was great.
awesome.
Yeah.
That sets up such a nice atmosphere. Fond of any sour beers?
They're starting to grow on me due to some persistence from some friends. I
Yeah.
typically am not a sour fan. That said,
Make easing your way into it.
I am easing my way into it. If I don't think of it as beer, I think of it more like, uh, I mean, champagne's a bad example, but
Hmm.
a carbonated alcoholic beverage with flavor to it. I can get past it a little easier, but they're starting to grow on me.
Okay.
I have
Um,
tried Roselle from Fair State. It's one of the ones I like.
I have as well. That's a good one. Um, that's fair. Jumping back to Helix, what's a speed game you wish you could be good at?
That I wish I could be good at. Super Mario Bros. 3.
Okay, interesting. That is a really
I
really cool game.
exactly. It's one of the ones that yes, I have beaten it, and I have beaten it a couple times. I am still bad at the game. I use
Yeah.
all the skips available to me because I need to save my lives. And I really like the flying and the you know different kind of costumes we can get into.
Hmm.
It's I like it.
Okay. Good answer. Favorite spice blend?
It's either garam masala
Ooh,
or
that's good.
uh, just a generic Creole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two very good spice blends. That's for sure. I think I still have some garam masala left. I need to do something with. That'd be good.
Oh, I make curry like once a month. I it's
Yeah,
mandatory to be on hand.
yes, it is. 100%. Curry is too good. Um, yeah, I think we're running out of time already, actually. We should wrap this up. So, thank you, Surly, for coming and talking for a while. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Newt, for having me.
Of course. Anytime. Couple announcements. Schedule was released for Mid-Spring Speed Fling. Hooray! It's it's crazy. Buckle up, that's gonna be a crazy marathon.
It looks
Mid-Spring,
super good.
it's gonna be insane. Mid-Spring Speed Fling will be May 1st through 3rd, raising money to support OI Foundation, which does research into osteogenesis imperfecta. Good stuff. Yes, check out the schedule. I guess with that, we'll go into part 2, which is, it is tradition around here that the guest decides who gets the channel raid following the interview. We like to give it over to people who have ran at our marathons in the past.
Sure. Who do we got to pick from?
Yeah, I'll start going through the list. There's a few. Recently, there's been a lot of people streaming all the time, it seems like. We have, starting off with, let's see, Aquana, who's just doing some Jackbox games tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sweener Dog, who is doing some 100% Diddy Kong racing runs. SCXCR, who is doing Past Cure. Yep.
Okay.
Time Muffin is playing Valorant. Sikinar is doing some any percent runs for Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Nice.
Velociraptor is playing some Mario Maker 2.
Okay.
Maddie Plays is doing some Phantasy Star Online 2. Kanish is doing some Kingdom Hearts. Bro God with League of Legends. I'm a Waka with Story About My Uncle. Zojalix with Kingdom Hearts. Captain Ezekiel also playing Valorant. And Zan Damascus playing some Super Mario World.
Let's hop into that Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Of course, with Sikinar. I forgot to mention, I'll get that set up here first. Before I do that. So, Midwest Speedfest Runner Spotlight will return next week. That's April 15th. April 15th. Can't remember the days anymore. Featuring Amber. So, ties in a little bit. Amber and Sikinar are dating, so that's how that ties together. So tune in next week for a chat with Amber. She runs Mario Kart 8. That's the one. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. And Surly, once again, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. It's been fun.
I'm glad.
Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one, everybody.